A state of emergency on Friday as the raging bushfires show no signs of slowing down. The situation is also tense in Victoria. The Australian military is bringing in supplies by boat for people stranded in Mallacoota. Officials say they have the potential to evacuate about 500 people by boat if they wish to leave. Meanwhile, this is what it looks like on the highways of New South Wales. Thousands of people fleeing their homes after officials ordered residents and tourists to get out of areas along the coast.
It's just a scary feeling, I think. Just everything that's going on. There was no fuel, we've got no power, no phone service out where we are, so yeah. We just
don't know what's going on or what we're expecting. Like, it's just everywhere. We're getting mixed everything.
Seeing just all the locals, I can see they're all nervous and anxious and everyone's just on edge.
At least 8 people have died in the fires in just the past 2 days. Nearly 1,300 homes have been destroyed in New South Wales since July. Many animals have also been killed as forests are being destroyed by the flames, and fire crews are bracing for worsening weather conditions on Saturday. CNN's Anna Corrin joins us now live from Nowra in New South Wales, Australia. So, Anna, this mass evacuation is underway to get people out ahead of these deteriorating weather conditions forecast for the weekend. What's the very latest on that and, of course, these bushfires?
Well, Rosemary, in the last half hour, the Princess Highway has been open to cars that are travelling south, or from the south, I should say, to the north, to where we are here in Nowra. And you've got a steady stream passing us now. We understand that there are thousands of cars on the Princess Highway south of where we are who have been told they need to get out of this fire zone. Authorities want holidaymakers to flee. That is the warning. So there is a mass exodus underway, and we have seen over the last half hour a steady stream start to come up the highway. A fire had broken out and had jumped the highway about 15 kilometres from where we are standing, which is why we couldn't go any further. And at this stage, we still can't go any further south. Fire crews are back burning, trying to get rid of the fuel, the debris, so that when the fire does come, it won't continue. And we have seen those horrific scenes over the past week, particularly on New Year's Eve, where conditions were just horrendous. High temperatures in the 40s, those strong winds absolutely decimating those coastal villages on the south coast of New South Wales into Victoria. Now, for Australia, which is in the middle of summer, this is where many people go to have their summer holidays. And we saw those scenes at Mallacoota on the border of Victoria and New South Wales, where there were some 4,000 people on the beach. There was an inferno, taking place, and the only place that these people could seek refuge was on the beach near the water. Now, you mentioned the military. The Navy has sent a ship down there. They are currently trying to get people off. Obviously, the priority for the sick, for those who've been injured, for the elderly. They're also bringing in supplies, food, clean drinking water, medical supplies. There are so many of these townships that have been cut off. Here in New South Wales, there are more than 100 fires that are burning out of control. In Victoria, the number is something like 50. And whilst conditions have eased today, temperatures have dropped, winds have dropped, we are expecting, Rosemary, for conditions to deteriorate on Saturday. Those temperatures reaching back into the 40s, those strong winds, and when it becomes like that, these fires create their own weather system, and that is when they are out of control. Rosemary.
Yeah, and Anna, I wanted to ask you about that, because what is being said about why these bushfires have been particularly bad this year and why the fires have gotten so out of control? What was the situation with controlled burning, and how big a role has climate change played in all of this?
Yeah, look, that's a really good point, and something that Australia's Prime Minister Scott Morrison has just been heavily criticised for his inaction on climate change, his government's inaction on climate change. There are so many climate change deniers here in Australia. We are experiencing the worst fire season on record. On top of that, Rosemary, we are also experiencing here in Australia the worst drought, years-long drought. So you have exceptionally dry conditions. This fire season began so much earlier than what it normally begins. This has been going on now for months, and we are only in January. These hot, dry conditions will continue for several more months. So there is no end in sight. Substantial rainfall, it's not on the radar. And for people obviously fighting the fires, for the farmers who are experiencing these horrendous dry conditions, there is just no. There's just no feeling that the things are going to improve. The Prime Minister, who finally addressed the media today, Rosemary, as we know, he has defended the government's response. He's defended the way that the fires have been handled. But you speak to fires, you speak to the people on the ground, they say they have been seriously mishandled. There are politicians here calling for a royal commission into the handling of the bushfires. And as I say, Rosemary, there is no end in sight at the moment. There is no rain on the forecast. There are hundreds of fires burning out of control, and people need, some sort of reassurance that the government has this under control. So Scott